Hello. Everything should be good and up. All right. So today we're going to be finishing up the sculpture that we did last time. So last time we rolled up a randomized creature from a table of attributes that I've written, and we ended up with an aquatic three-armed creature with a humanoid nose and face, teeth, pointy ears, three limbs, three upper limbs, two paws, one hand, scales. Um, so we ended up with this thing. I went ahead and did a base coat of black just to make this a little easier because that tends to, turn the light up a little bit. That tends to take a long time to dry, so I did a very light, just like watered down black all over it. But now we have gotten to the coloring stage, so we will be rolling some colors from our random list of colors. And for this one, what I did was I did 6, but I paired 2 per options. So like number 1 is red and pink, 2 is orange or brown. So what I'm going to do for each of these is I will choose a color from the pairing that is each. That way I have a little bit of control, because if I did completely randomized, the color schemes would probably look pretty crappy. So this gives me a little control, but it's still random. Where did I put my D6? I was playing with it a few minutes ago. Hold on. What did I do with it? Huh. Bear with me one second. I have lost my lovely D6 that I made for this. I have my D4. It's odd. If not, I've got plenty of other D6s. I'm not sure because it was here a few moments ago and now it is not. I'm not sure how I lost it. Where did I put it? Yeah, I've got my D4. It was right here. It is no longer right here. Well. Alright, bear with me. I have to go hunt down one of my other D6s for the time being, because I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know where it went. Alright. I will be back in a moment. I have to go grab a D6. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. Hold on. Alright, so I don't know what happened to my other D6. I was playing with it just a moment ago, but it is apparently gone now. So I will hunt that down later. Either way, we're going to go ahead and do our first roll. So we rolled a 6. So that's pretty simple. That's white or black. I'm probably going to choose black on that one. That is a 2. Orange or brown? Orange might be interesting. So let's do orange, black, and yellow, green. Let's do orange, black, and yellow, maybe? Or orange, black, and green. Green might look good with it being aquatic. Orange, black, and green. Yeah, let's do, okay, we're going to do orange, black, and green. We'll go with that. Hold on. let me type this in here. Orange, black, and green. Whoops, I meant to type that correctly. We can make this a little bigger. All right, so now we're gonna roll types of color. 5. Bright. Okay. Bright colors. That is going to be interesting. All right, and then let's see if we can get a pattern here. 4. Flecked. Okay. So we have bright colors. Okay, so we have orange, black, green, bright colors, and a slightly flecked or dotted pattern. All right, let me put this away. Okay, so let me think. So I think I will make the base very black, and then we'll probably spot it with a little bit of black. I think perhaps the stomach and the skin portion should be the orange. This is going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but we'll start with that. Yeah, because I think the orange and black will work pretty well. But I'm not sure. Orange, black, and green. Interesting combo. I mean, I could have done the yellow, and the yellow probably would have blended better. It's just I really want the green on the tail, because I think that would look right. And we have to do bright colors. I think muted it would have been better if I chose green. And I mean, I think the bright colors I probably should have chose the yellow. But I said we were doing green, so we are going to stick with that. We could also do the scales green. That would be interesting. All right. We're doing our first layer of orange here. And I want the tentacles should probably also be the green color. Yeah, no matter what I do, this guy is just going to be horrifying. But it's kind of cool. He's growing on me. I don't usually do hideous monsters, but, you know, it was a fun experiment. And we'll keep layering this orange. Until we get a brighter tone. And I think we'll do the flecked pattern like on his tummy and on the sides here, and then a little bit on the arms, almost like freckles. So we can either do the green or we can do the black. We'll see what looks best. Oops. All right. Okay, we're gonna do more on the face now. I might take a little bit of red to do the dark shading on the orange, because that typically looks nice. If you're doing an orange or a pink color, to have some of the darker colors appear slightly red. So we may do that. But our main colors will be orange. It'll just be for like the shading. So like on the ears and the ears and any spots like the nose and such. Nostrils, mouth, that kind of thing. Mhm. All right. Okay. Okay. It's gonna take a while to get the tone that I want. Oop, I didn't mean to hit the microphone, sorry. Oh, let me unclick stuff. Okay. Oops. Caught on a tentacle. Okay. And I'm gonna fade this from the orange into the green, probably. Okay, this arm is gonna be orange. Mostly, anyway. Alright, so let's grab a little bit of red here. So I'm gonna put some red on the creases. Any spot that would be darker, the shading, I guess. I don't know what the proper term is for figurine type stuff. So we're going to go back over this with the orange. So it's still going to be orange, but for now we're going to do this. And yeah, his teeth are going to be white when I get to that point. And this is just making him look worse. I mean, worse in a good way, but still worse. Okay. Just do faint pinkish shading here and there on all of these spots. So I'm just using this for shading. We're going to go back over it with the orange, so it won't be quite this bright. But I just want to darken those spots a bit, and then we'll go over it with the bright orange again. Because again, we're supposed to have it bright. That is what it says. It does say bright. Because I chose to do this with black initially, it's going to be a little harder to get that bright color. But we can get there. Right, so we're just layering colors here. We're getting there. Obviously this isn't quite enough because we got to do brighter. Much brighter orange than this. Okay. Okay. Some shading. We're shading our horrifying monster creature. Alright. Now we get to go back to adding orange. So now we're just going to add lots of orange. Lots of lovely bright orange. Okay. Still not technically bright orange. Needs to be super bright. We're getting there. We're getting there. I feel like the most boring thing is usually painting layers of color like this. Layers and layers of color until you get the shade that you want. And we'll use the green on the scales and then like a gradient into the tail, and then we'll add the flecked pattern. And we did bright color, so it's gonna have to be a bright sickly green, which will be interesting. Oops. All right. And the second here, we're going to switch over and start doing a gradient green base for the tail. But I want to get this extra layer of orange because we're still going to have to do more orange because this isn't really, I can't justify calling this bright orange because I mean, it's a little faded on the camera. It's a little brighter on my perspective, but it's still not what I would consider bright. So we're going to have to do a couple more layers of orange brushing to really fit the criteria that we've rolled up here. I'm gonna go ahead and since we did black, I'm thinking the paws will be black. Maybe with some orange or green highlights, we'll see. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a little more orange here at the tail base. to yeah, it looks very brown on the camera. It's actually quite yeah, that's a little better. That's more accurate to what I'm seeing. It's more orange in person than it appears through the camera lens. That is one of the difficulties of cameras and photography and stuff, is like the lighting has so much of an impact on the way that you see the colors, which it does for your eyes too, but it definitely messes when I'm doing stuff like this. Definitely messes with the appearance a bit. Okay. So this is what we have so far. Gonna do a bit more orange. All right. So let me grab the greens here. Okay, let's get some green yellow here. So we can do kind of a gradient. All right, so we got that going. We got this blend of green and yellow going on here. All right. Okay. Now we're going to do the tentacles real quick. We're going to paint those all green. And we will also make those kind of a gradient tone, so we'll make them a bit yellower at the base so that they look like they're coming out like in a way that doesn't look too weird, instead of just being randomly attached to the body at a spot. So we're going to blend the colors, but I need to start with this dark green, and then we'll move to the gradient tone. Okay, so we're going to do this around the base. It looks a little messy, but it's fine. We're going to fix it in a second. We'll get our orange back out. And then we'll do another layer of orange. And that'll kind of blend these colors together a bit. Alright. So this is what we have so far. Okay. Yeah, I think with this we might do some very detailed like black patterns or something on the tail. That might be interesting. So let's go back to our orange. Okay. So to bring out the bright orange, we may actually have to do some yellow highlights. It'll blend with the orange and it'll look orange, but just like I'm going to go back over and do the red again, we may have to do some yellow, because that's like the next closest color that's really bright to do the highlights with. It didn't tell us to do metallic colors, but I may go over this with some metallic orange on the highlights, just because I think it would add some interesting water-like slimy kind of look, if you will. I was actually thinking of painting this completely in a shiny, like resin or acrylic, but I don't think I want to use that much resin on this. I would waste a lot of expensive resin. So I probably won't be doing that since this is just for fun. But I will probably use the metallic a little bit because that will achieve a little bit of a similar effect. It should be interesting. So you can see I'm kind of blending these colors together so they don't stand out too much. Okay. Right. So this is what we've gotten so far. Alright, so I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow and see if we can lighten up the highlights a bit. Dry brush some yellow on here and get more of an orange appearance. Because it's still not perfectly dry, so it should blend pretty well. That was a little much. You can see it mixes with the orange and gives it a brighter orange appearance. There we go, that's pretty bright. Again, it's slightly brighter in person. Camera always makes it look darker, no matter what I do with the lighting. Just dry brushing with the yellow here. And then we'll go back over and do the dark spots with the red again, because I think that adds some good depth to it, even though our main color is orange. It'll add some better highlights to it. And sometimes even after this, if I do super bright yellow, I can go back over it with the orange and it'll look even brighter like an orange, because we're going to do that with the metallic orange, and that should really help brighten the color up a tad. Basically dry brush all of the yellow. And then we're going to go back over with my, in spots, with my metallic orange. And then we'll be able to do the scales last. But we have to do the scales last, just because it's kind of like layering. You start with the lowest base color, the shadows, and then you gradually layer the light on top, because anything that's protruding is typically going to have brighter lights and colors on it. Yeah, I'm using a little too much yellow, but that's okay, because we're going to go back over with some orange. And if you can hear my cat, I'm sorry. She hears me talking and is wondering why she's not a part of this. So, they do that a lot. Yeah, and when we're done with the dry brushing, we'll clean up that eye as well so that it'll look not so hazy. But yep, this is where we are so far. Okay. You can see that gives it a slightly shiny appearance. I'm just gonna go over everything a little bit with this. Well, I should probably do the red first now that I think about it, before we do that. I just want to try brush the red a little bit. Mm. Okay. Just a little bit. Yeah, and then we'll do the orange here in a second. I just want to touch up the red shading, and then we'll do the orange over top. Okay, so it looks a bit more yellowish at the moment, but that's fine. We're gonna go over it with an orange. Metallic orange. I'm gonna dry brush with orange. Yeah, it looks so yellowy in the camera. It's decently orange. I can add some more orange. I need to refill my metallic paints here. They're getting low. All right. Okay. My hand's cramping up. Ow. All right, let me clean off the eyeball a bit. It always makes it look better. There we go. That always looks so much better. Okay. Ow. Yeah, my hand is... Ow. Okay. I kind of like the idea of potentially having the hand go into a gradient black, this top one, where the fingers like turn dark. I think that would be interesting. So we're going to try that. All right. So there we add some of the black that we need. Just dry brushing, shading. Okay. Let me see how I can do a flecked pattern. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this. Okay, so we got some flecked pattern on his tummy now. And let me see, I'm gonna do some on the arms. So I have some on the arms now. Just faint little dots. So that satisfies our flecked pattern that we needed. Okay. All right. So now we have a slightly speckled pattern on his skin. So that's the flecked. And what do we have next? So now we do have to do more green for the scales. We've technically satisfied everything, but the bright, we're going to do bright green. Bright green for the scales. All right, let me put that over there. It is, and that in there. Okay, nice little brush. And this is the very slow boring part, where we paint each scale, one at a time. And then after we do this, I'll probably do a dot, a tiny dot of yellow in the middle, just to brighten it up a bit. And then I gotta figure out what I'm doing with these paws. Oh, we could do the tips of the ears green. That might be interesting. Hey, get off me. Sorry about that. There's a gnat. Alright. Okay. Alright, now we're going to do this side. Every time I end up doing scaly creatures, I always regret it. Because it takes a while to do this, especially since I like to do more than one color on each scale. Just to make it look better. Alright. And this green also is going to satisfy the requirement that we use some bright colors. I'm a little unhappy I couldn't get the orange brighter, but I think it would have taken way too long and also looked really weird probably. But it is decently bright. Like I said, the camera washes it out a tad. But I think this is a good middle ground. And then of course with the green scales, we get a much brighter. We get some really nice bright colors. Alright, so I'm going to just lightly tint the ears green here on the tip and on the back. All right. Okay. Now, let's take a little bit of. And this is faster because we're not painting it, we're just highlighting a little bit. All right, so that added some more depth to the scales a bit there. Okay, and now we're going to do it everywhere else. Okay. Okay, we're almost done. I just gotta figure out what I'm doing with the paws after this. Oh, and I forgot to do the speckled pattern on the third arm here. So we'll do that as well. Oh, and I almost forgot I have to paint his teeth as well. Alright, so we have that. And then I was going to black tip the tail here. Just kind of outline it and trace some of the grooves with black. Like so, like that. Okay. That looks a little better. So we're almost done here. Almost. And then I want the paws to be black as well. All right. And then we're gonna put some little dot flecks on this arm. All right. There we go. Now he's got some little freckles on that arm as well. And we gotta paint the teeth now. Since we're on the theme of bright colors, we're gonna do them bright light. Somehow that makes him more disturbing. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to do. Put orange back on his nose. I put some yellowy green on it. I don't like it. I want to make it orange again. Let's make the lips a little bit lighter. There we go. All right. I think that is all of the stuff that we needed to do. So, here we have our lovely, horrifying abomination that we have created. He is a combination of orange, black, green, bright colors, and a flecked pattern. So we have a flecked pattern on his stomach, on his arms, kind of like freckles, on his third arm, on his back. We have scales, tentacles, 3 arms, aquatic paws, teeth. He's very happy. He's got very bright teeth. But yeah, I think we're done with this guy. Let's flip him around slowly. And the tentacles. Alright, I think we have completed this one. This is our 3rd randomly generated creature. A little bit horrifying, but kind of cool. If you watch this video, I do greatly appreciate it. If you have any suggestions, or if something you'd like to see me make, or if you want to comment during one of these videos when I'm sculpting, for example, I'd be very happy to take suggestions and recommendations for a lot of the stuff that I do. So I appreciate it very much, and I hope you have a wonderful night or morning, whatever it is for you. Here it's night, but I greatly appreciate it. Have a good night.